So I thought I'd go out and do a little exploring while I wait for Mr. Atwood to get off work. Kind of looking for outdoors-ish areas that I can do some filming in. And I figured probably the easiest spot is like go to like the walk-in hunting areas nearby. Then I don't have to worry about permissions and things like that. Just kind of walk in, walk around. I don't know if you guys saw the hawk that just flew on. But some of it's pretty nice. It's all like county and state maintained land for archery and shotgun hunting, mainly birds, pheasant, quail, stuff like that. So, just kind of wandering around, looking to see what there is to see. Got my nice Callantyre purple on so people don't, mistake me for a bird. People aren't always bright. Got a nice little pond. It's mostly frozen, but you can still see through the ice. Found a little spot where all the little critters seem to walk down, get their drinks. You can kind of hear the road, which, unless you're way out in the middle of nowhere, that's hard to avoid. A little path through there. Things make their way. I'm sure there's probably possums and raccoons and foxes and stuff. But this is just down the hill straight from where I was walking. So we're going to go around this tree and down. Listen to the woodpecker. It's very opinionated, that's for sure. I don't think people realize that sometimes they think they're hearing a squirrel. They're actually hearing a woodpecker with something to say. Not just the tapping on the trees. Something over here. Drainage for the pond when it's full. Looks like it's, I won't say it's been built up, but definitely broken down by the water. No beaver in here, that's for sure. That'd be a nice place to come if it's not too hot. I don't see any signs of anybody's like game cameras or anything like that. Which is good. It means there's nobody out here like looking for deer and poaching. Road's just there. We'll go down here. Trying to keep things. I'm just holding this, but I have the steady option on for the video. Not sure I like it because it seems like it focuses in and out, which doesn't really seem to do any good if you're trying to do stuff and it seems like it's moving and you're not moving. Space in the trees. A little bit deeper area on the water. That's where it runs off, feeds the creek. Stir up the critters a little. So out this way, there are a lot of pheasant. Which is pretty cool. But there's also black pheasant, which I found out is like a redundant gene that it pops up under, like, you know, successful ones. So saw quite a few the other day picking up Mr. Atwood from work. So gonna go around here. Apparently the landscaping guy's wondering what I'm doing. Fun bit with public land. It's open to the public. Let's see what's right here. We're open space, but that's the main road there, which kind of sucks. But there's stuff out this way. Hedge balls galore. These trees. A little bit of stuff. Leftover berries that are probably quite fermented. Sure, the squirrels and the birds are gonna thrill off of that. So over here is probably where the creek comes under over the road, feeds down in here, then feeds that pond, goes on. We live near a watershed, which is like a network of creeks, ponds, different stuff, help hold back the water, prevent flooding, conservation, stuff like that. Semi-regular trail space here or something. Considering it goes through there, it's probably not people. Comes through here. I guess deer bedded down over here. See kind of the flattened areas. Come around. They might squeeze through there, most likely through here. So people are probably going, Moon, what are you doing? You're supposed to be showing us how to make things like tunics and stuff. Well, yeah, but variety is the spice of life, and I thought it'd be kind of neat to find some place that was different. Show you stuff. You know, can't do everything from the kitchen. Oh, there's a creek. You can kind of see the paths through here. They're a little darker, maybe a little more recently disturbed, but I bet you got critters that just come down there, get their water, and move on. There's not a whole lot out here other than coyotes, as far as, like, you know, natural predators for the bigger things. See, you can kind of see this trail through there. One way to keep looking from it looking like you've gone tromping through a place, just take your time. I haven't gone snapping branches off those trees I went walking through. Let them bend slow. So we'll come around here. see where else we're at. Be back in a bit. So here's some lichen up close and personal. Blooming out in the warmer weather. Not really blooming, it's more leafing and growing out. Because it's, like moss. But it's pretty cool. Not quite the flattened out, dried out stuff there. But I just came around the corner. You can see the deer path going through here. More spots where they've come in, laid down. So that's just the other side of where we were just looking. So probably come down there, get their water, and go on up the other side of the field, and go on out. There's some like hay fields and grazing pasture over there. My guess is probably part of this is like, state or county owned land, and then some of the farmers can lease it out to come in and hay off of. Still provide the habitat for the game birds and stuff like that though. Oh yeah, we could go on up in there, be on the other side. A little more open space. More dead branches, getting the lichen creek. Yep, there's a path. So when it fills up, probably runs through, especially when it's raining. But it's pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna put you away, walk back to the car, and then we'll go check out another spot. So this is why you keep your eyes open, so you can get the joy of cleaning up other people's trash. Humans. So, for those of you who ask, well, how do you know? Right there. Now, some of the white signs will have no trespassing, private land. So if it's like a landowner who leases out for the conservation, then they can do that. Basically, partly to help promote tourism, but mainly conservation, keeping animal populations where they need to be, safely, stuff like that. So, this Rona lung, that sucks. Recovery is like crap. So, alright, time to hop in the car, go to the next place. So, this is actually the other side. I went farther down the road, turned out there wasn't a whole lot that way, but came back, and behind it, whole big giant, basically, set off prairie. This pond's marked for fishing, although to be honest, it's awful clear, it's a warmer day, I don't see anything moving in the shallows. So unless they got like catfish or something hiding under the ice over there, I doubt it's got much unless they stock it in the spring. But see stuff. I bet if I went around I could see marks from like deer and stuff coming around, but I'm getting on 50. I'm not big on hopping fences anymore. I look for the spot that, has the nice access, so kind of tool around. It says the Wakarusa River is not far. I passed over a little bridge. It didn't seem like much of a river though, but that's Kansas for you. So I guess we'll go around, see what else there is. So there was a little clear spot in the fence for pull in, get off the road. It'd be blocking the road. Kind of go around. See, there's this pretty big set of pasture land. Hawks doing their thing. How do you know it's not a buzzard? You look at the shape of the wings. Look at the color. They're not lazy day circling, they're hunt circling. Here it comes. This part of Kansas has a lot of different hawks. We also have bald eagles. All sorts of stuff. Looking in the sun. More out. Mate's probably over there, the other one I saw over there. I also love how people say Kansas is flat. Far from flat. See your guy hate around. Deer laying down in there. Probably getting out of the wind. So I'm looking for a spot that's public and I can just kind of walk in with my stuff easily, relatively close to home. Make like moons out on the trail, making his way to somewhere. You know, toss my bedroll down, work on something, talk to you guys. I would love to have a spot where I could build like a little encampment. A friend of mine lives up by the reservation to the north of us, but to get there's half hour, 45-minute drive just one way. Here's the wind. Never stops. But and he said I was free to come out and camp out there, but apparently I accidentally hit the stop button. Didn't realize I had an extra stop button. I don't know. A lot of people don't have their cows, free ranging. They have it pastured, stockyards, and rolling the hay for them. Although there is an outfit down the road that's got Scottish Highlands, so that's kind of cool. It's open prairie. As much as I'd like to go walking down in there and see what's in there, probably gonna hold off for today. And then we'll maybe go see what's out closer to Mr. Atwood's work. Go from there. Behold, a pale horse. The man who drove him was winded from his exertions, because when he most likely had the Rona back in March, did a number on his lungs. What we're going to do is we're going to head that way, see what's out there, just kind of explore around, see where I saw some pheasants, maybe talk on the way. One thing to remember though, when you're out doing these little wanderings, especially if you're out in places like this, let somebody know where you're going. And then it also helps to leave a note on the dash of your car. That way, if say like a person lives out that way, comes by, sees your car, and still sees it, they might have a look. Get a better idea if you're in trouble and can't say anything. So, okay. Back on the adventure. See, it's kind of bouncing. Kind of back course, holding on to the phone. Now we're just exploring. So I know the instructional videos are helpful, but they're also kind of a pain to set up sometimes. Get everything together. Have cats not getting in the way, having a plan, lighting, all that stuff. So, and this was just a quick adventure. Didn't require any planning. It was just go. However, working on some instructional videos and plans and PDFs that you guys can use and have to work from. But that, unfortunately, is a slower process because I have to go through and draw it out and have your, pictures and details and stuff like that, and then be able to files that you can download and be able to do stuff with. So all takes a little bit of time. Plus we had to start back up school because they decided let's just send all the children's back to school when pandemic numbers were worse. So, not real thrilling. Takes everything extra out of you. Being extra nice, letting the people go across a little narrow bit. Pandemic depression is very real. Hopefully people are doing okay. It's part of why I wanted to get out of the house. Just needed to get out. And for people who are following the Facebook page, I participated in a talk for the Barony of Lionsgate in Antioch about indigenous personas and persona building, things you kind of got to do and watch out for. So hopefully they'll get that video to me soon so I can share it with you guys. It was one of those Facebook Zoom classes, so that was kind of fun. It was a little nerve-wracking because it's been a while since I talked to people I can see. So other than that, some of this is fun because I'm getting to see things I don't get to see very often. It's probably kind of boring for you guys, but it's just me driving in my car. It's nice. It's almost 50 degrees in January. Walk-in hunting. And we could go straight, but there's nowhere to get in there. Could go back around, or we could cut cross country. It's not really cross country, but it's down the road ways. But it's far. So we're gonna go to the main road. advantage of the nice weather to get stuff done. So here's the other thing. If you're looking at the walk-in hunting areas and stuff like that, if it's got an access road, some of them are electronically controlled, kind of like a reservation, because it may be so confined that you can only have one person in at a time. So that's something you gotta check. So if it is also just an access road, some of those places belong to a guy and he may still want to get in. You want to block it off. Let's do this here. You guys can see. So, get this. There we go. See how it comes in. Main road there. Comes around. Goes in there. That's probably a look for later. There is some fencing there, so my guess is it just follows this bit. There's the drainage and then goes up to there. And I don't have the thing where I can look at the GIS stuff while I'm talking to you guys. So, bunch of birds though. So. Alright. Put a break in this and then start over. So this is a whole different setup. This looks like it's been a little more managed for birds. So what it does is it gives them runs where they're a little protected, but then they have open areas going back and forth, basically little islands. Brother-in-law and I were talking about this the other day because he was looking at making some out in some of their fields to help with the conservation. So, you know, things for like prairie chicken that's native to Kansas, pheasants, which are not native to America at all, quail, other game birds. He's also got like several ponds and things like that. They're really good sized. So I bet they occasionally get geese and duck and stuff like that. There was a car over where I parked, so I need to make myself a little more noticeable in case there's a guy out here hunting. I wasn't able to peek to see what the restrictions were out here. I think we're past rifle season. So almost looks like somebody dumped a bunch of paintballs. Those are not paintballs. Look a lot more like overripe ground plums. Normally it kind of be a pinkish red, but I've gone beyond. So here you can kind of see how they're attached. Trying to film things a little more high def so the video quality is better, but it means I have to do it in smaller sections, so you may see a little more breaks and resets. So, but that'll be the fun part for editing. So, I'm gonna walk over here a bit and then I'll come back. bet there's a lot of velociraptors out in that, hiding in the tall grass. But more than likely, there's probably actually a metric butt ton of pheasant and quail and other things that would pop if I wanted to go plowing through. You can kind of see some of the runs they develop running through, following the deer, stuff like that. Easier spots is if you have like more of an aerial view. You can see where the deer kind of walk through and knock things down a little bit. They feel a little more safe out there. Coyotes go through. Probably a good chunk of nests for quail and pheasant would be my guess. I haven't seen any sign of anybody out here doing anything, but somebody's out here with deer for deer with a bow or something. Probably being pretty quiet. So, but it's nice to know this is out here and it's a pretty big area. Probably easy go all the way back in there. Practically disappear. Do a little filming, but gotta do it. I have to be very particular in what I'd wear. You know, wear the red tunic, not the brownish wool one. You know, all those things keep you safe, make you obvious. But anyway, I'm gonna charge it back to the car and we'll carry on. Heard a little chirping. There he is. Pretty loud. Oh, that's why. Hawk flying over there. Neighborhood watch making some noise. People wondering what I'm doing. Amazing how many people stop when it looks like you're taking pictures or filming. They wonder what's going on, what they're missing. So this car goes by. There on the fence there's a bunch of chickadees making noise about the hawks and stuff. But that big tree back there, I almost thought I saw a bald eagle. So they're out here. Not a lot of them, but they're out here. Kansas did a big conservation effort to like return them to like the local lakes and stuff. So there's stuff out there. You can see where the don't go this way because this isn't hunting. So, all right, time to carry on. Well, I would head on to like look for more, but looks like it's time to head towards picking up Mr. Atwood. We'll find out. Hoping to get out early because it's like in-service day. But since I am in the transportation department, nothing for me to do other than take the day off. So pay more attention because it's a busy time around. We might have time to like check down the road, next county over. See if we see any pheasant wandering around. The spot I was in was not restricted to shotguns and archery only, so more than likely there's a guy sitting in there doing some deer hunting. I have not looked to see what season it is. It might be tail end, second chance rifle season. Might not. There's another access just went that way. This one's a lot bigger. It's like 80 plus acres plus another section. So definitely good to be visible, especially if there's people out there. There's more walk-ins over there with like fish access and stuff. Now some of the nice things is like the ponds are like year-round fish access. So and a lot of those, the hatcheries and things sometimes come out and dump overflow from accounts, dump them in the bigger cattle ponds, things like that. Well, this can be nice fishing, but you definitely have to hike for it or earn it. So it'll be full, depending on the year. One place I went out to one time, it was just massively full, but they were the weirdest fish I'd ever seen. They would only bite on plastic worms. Made no sense. And you didn't want to go near the trees. The second you stepped on those trees, it sounded like it was raining, but it turned out it was just tons and tons and tons of little ticks falling around all over you, hoping to get a bite. So that's the other thing you gotta worry about. My hope is we get some warm-ups here the next, month or two. We've done some really hard freezes. Cut down the tick population. Cut down some of the other bug populations. The other weirdness about where I'm at compared to home is there's haven't seen any raccoons. Normally you see raccoons all over the place. I have seen a couple unfortunate roadkill ones, but they're very rare compared to like at home where you see raccoons wandering around at night. You get it, you don't even really see possums wandering around. So I'm wondering if they just maybe have more countryside to hide in versus, being too close to town. What it is, but I guess Mr. Atwood sees lots of deer and pheasant on the way out here to work in the mornings. I've seen a lot of turkeys, like big flocks of them. Guess we'll see. Also, unfortunately, the occasional deer in the road, so there's some spots out here that have like old walk-in access signs, but here is actually an observatory, which is pretty cool. Come out occasionally Saturdays when it's really clear, pre-pandemic, of course. They would do tours and let people look for the big telescope they got. See all sorts of stuff. So, but that's probably gonna have to wait a bit. We brought the kids out one time and it ended up being too cloudy. But guys were really cool. They showed us off how the system worked. Basically, they had a great big shed with a retractable roof. Fire up the telescope, roll things back, and then they had a computer system where they could look at things inside, compare it to GPS and all sorts of other cool stuff. So, but looks like I am out to get Mr. Wood. Big old hog power line. So, not as fun as I know some of the other videos, but sometimes you just gotta go on an adventure. So, hope everybody's having a good day.